Welcome back, everyone, to our fourth hashtag Hire Me 2022 guest panel speaker series hosted by BCJobs.ca. My name is Chelsea, your BC Jobs host for today's panel. So this spring, well, it's almost spring, we're hosting our panel every 3 weeks where we have three special guest speakers from various sectors join us for a Q&A on what's new with their organizations and to talk a bit about the job market and hiring. I'm just going to let one more person in here. As you may know, BC Jobs is Western Canada's biggest online jobs board. And in addition to this guest speaker series, we also offer annual career fairs. Our next one will be hopefully later on in the spring. You can also check out our Innovators podcast to hear more about what industry leaders are saying. Before we get started here today, I want to encourage you, the audience, to type your questions for the panel speakers into the chat box at any point, and we will get to your questions during our Q&A. Today, we will be offering a job candidate pitch event right before we start the audience Q&A. To participate in our pitch events, you can enter your name, location, and area of expertise and years of experience into the chat box. And I'll draw 3 candidates to give a 30-second pitch to tell our guest speakers about yourself and your experience. And the person with the best pitch will then receive a 30-minute resume consultation with BC Jobs. So when we get to this part of the panel later today, I will remind you all again about how to enter it. So let's get some introductions going here. Today, one of our panelists from Ada was unable to attend, so apologies if you had some questions for them. I'm going to pass the virtual mic over to Cyrus Moradian, CEO and co-founder at Wize. Cyrus, welcome to our panel. It's great to have you with us, and please tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. My name is Cyrus. Grew up in Vancouver, went to school in Montreal, McGill University. That's a place where I majored in finance. Thought I was going to enter the finance industry. And instead, a month before graduating university, about 10 years ago, I started an education company that I've been working on ever since. We support and help students transition from high school into university and college, especially with those, hard, difficult first-year courses, predominantly in STEM, as well as in commerce and business. But over the last 10 years, we've expanded into the high school sector, supporting high school students, as well as into the professional programs. We have an MCAT and LSAT prep course to support students go on to medical and law school. We're all about providing affordable resources that can allow for students and lifelong learners to reach their full potential. So for example, with our subscription pass, you can get access to world-class expert tutors, all on demand, see their video tutorials, exam-like practice questions and everything for less than $1 a day. So I'm really trying to provide affordable, world-class resources that can support students on their journey.
Very cool. Thanks for that awesome introduction, Cyrus. And next up, we've got Fiona Therian, Executive VP of Management Services at Tribe Management. Fiona, thanks so much for joining us today, and please tell us a bit about your background.
First, Cyrus, that's really impressive. As someone who's just gone through the process with my daughter for medical school, pretty easy.
Thanks.
My name is Fiona Therian. I run the Strata Management division of Tribe. Strata Management, an interesting field and one that is often overlooked when people are coming into their career. It's quite often something that people come into in later years once they've already had a career. That said, anyone driving through any of the cities we live in, we see the cranes, you see the buildings. Someone's got to manage the asset. So we actually, as an industry, we manage the financial asset of a strata corporation. And we do everything top to bottom, finances, maintenance, a lot of people work. It's an interesting career that's often overlooked and something that people don't consider when they're starting out.
Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing with us your story. And now that we feel that we know our panelists a bit better, I've got a few of my own questions that I'm going to start us off with before we move over to the pitch event and the audience Q&A. These next questions are geared more towards what's new at your companies in 2022, but I've also thrown in a couple questions under the theme of industry changes. So I'll start off with Fiona. So with Tribe, you guys were just nominated for the 2022 PAMA Industry Awards. Yeah, that's so exciting. And can you tell us a bit more about this award?
PAMA is it's the Professional Association of Managing Agents. And every year PAMA looks to the industry for best in class. And we were lucky enough to have several of our team members nominated. I think the lunch is next week and we'll find out who won. So we are very, very excited. We tend to have at least 2 or 3 people every year representing Tribe.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a super big achievement.
It is.
Yeah. And so my next question here is for Cyrus. Last year, Wize raised $3 million to enhance the online learning experience of students. Do you have any more projects in the pipeline for this year?
Yeah, so we, raised that money to be able to actually expand into the high school and the professional program space. So when we had raised that money, we had predominantly just focused on helping first years. And now we can actually help students throughout their entire undergraduate degree, as well as having in the last 12 months created a product for grade 9s through grade 12s and the medical school and law school prep space. So yeah, we've put that money to good work. And now it's about taking these products that we've developed for that, all 3 different arenas, and yeah, making sure we can make them successful and actually get a whole bunch of students in the classes. So this year is all about kind of putting those products that we developed over the last year, getting them to market, and actually getting them to support students.
That's exciting. So you've got a lot ahead for you for this year.
Definitely, yeah, including primarily focused on US expansion, which is something we've been doing the last year, and we now have more traffic and visitors coming from the US than Canada, which is quite an achievement for our team, having been predominantly focused on Canada for a long time.
That's fantastic. So you're only in Canada at this point, or just marketing
No,
to?
The last year we started our expansion into the US, and we now have more users in the US coming to our website than we do Canada.
Amazing.
So that was a big achievement for us.
Very awesome. Okay, my next question is back over to Fiona here. So what's new in the area of property management for 2022? Any exciting things that you can tell me that's going on?
It's actually a really good time for people who are looking to enter the industry. We have a shortage of licensees. It is a licensed position that we are licensed. Our developments are starting to change, and we're getting much more complicated as far as structure. It used to be the days that a strata corporation was a 4-story walk-up wood frame building. We are now looking at really complicated cost sharing, and managing communities is a fascinating world to live in. We do a little bit of everything. We go from a little bit of psychology, a little bit of law, a little bit of engineering. So it's a very varied industry, but what is different and what we're seeing more so and more so is the size and the scope and the complexity of the buildings that are going up in Vancouver in particular, but also in Ontario, we're seeing a lot of complexity.
Okay, so are you spread out like across Canada then?
We are.
Okay.
We've got offices. We've got 8 offices.
8 offices. Wow. So like basically one almost in every province. Or
we've got Victoria, Kelowna, Kamloops, Vancouver, and Delta in BC, and then we have Calgary and Cambridge in Ontario.
Cool. Very awesome.
Yeah, it is.
So I have another question for Cyrus here. And what's the education industry like these days? There's been so many drastic changes to learning environments in the past 2 years, during the pandemic. Anything we should be keeping our eyes on?
A lot of it is focused now on this upcoming September, finishing the year off. Is definitely something that people are mindful of, but then gearing up for this September when things will go back to what we imagine will be more closely to the pre-pandemic than during the pandemic. And the education sector as a whole is kind of battling because there's a lot of learning loss and opportunity loss that occurred throughout the pandemic. So they're saying, McKinsey, for example, will report that students are going to be going into September with as much as 5 months months of learning loss throughout the last 2 years.
wow.
So, just preparing for, if you ever thought a September, with the summer slide of students coming into September on the first day of class with, different levels of, grade 10 mathematics. And if we always thought that was an issue, it's definitely going to be amplified this upcoming year. So it'll be interesting to see the measures that we take to hopefully catch everyone up to speed on anything they're missed and pick up where we left off.
Gosh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even think about like the learning loss that has occurred like in the past 2 years with going from like online, like kind of like back and forth to in person and online learning. Yeah, that's definitely something that that didn't even occur to me. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and respects to all the teachers for all their valiant efforts, throughout the last couple of years. But we're going to need to get them support because I think it's like 50% of teachers are experiencing burnout or
Oh,
even considering switching professions. So
yes.
they need as much help as we can kind of give them. So hopefully Wize can support some of their students outside of the classroom.
Amazing. Yeah, no, that's actually really great to hear you say that because I know several teachers myself and they are very tired and very burnt out and it's been a long 2 years from them. So yeah, I hear you. All right. Well, thanks for answering some of these questions that I had for you both. And it's great to know more about your organizations and what you guys are up to. Next, before we dive into questions from the audience, I'm going to draw three names from our audience members and invite each person to give a 30-second pitch about themselves to you both. So the person with the best pitch will receive an email from me later with an invitation to a 30-minute resume consultation with BCJobs.ca. And to enter this pitch contest, in the chat box, you can enter your name, your location, area of expertise, and the years of experience that you have. And I'll just go with like the top 3 people that put their name in and invite you to give a pitch about yourself. Okay, so we've got some questions coming in the chat here too. Perfect. Okay, so I see Lawal and Varanya. Okay, perfect. So we'll go first with Lawal. So if you want to hop on screen, turn your camera on, and you can unmute yourself. You can give a 30-second pitch about yourself and your experience to our guest speakers today. So thank you for being the first brave person to nominate yourself.
My name is Lawal Temitope from Nigeria. I'm a veterinary doctor, graduated from University of Ibadan, Nigeria. I have 4 to 5 years work experience as a veterinary doctor in poultry establishments and also in small animal medicine. So I'm really looking for opportunities that will be able to showcase my skills. I'm also into graphic designing. I know how to design, and I'm also into web designing also. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing with us a little bit about yourself, Lawal. And can you tell me, are you looking to change careers? Because you said you're a veterinarian. Are you looking to get into web design, graphic design more, or looking for a bit of both?
A bit of both.
Okay, a bit of both. Okay, great. Well, thanks for sharing with us. And then next up, we've got Varanya. Varanya, did you want to jump on screen, turn your camera on, and you can unmute yourself?
Hello, speakers. Hello, Chelsea. So I'm Varanya. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to just speak, right? So I'm an engineer. I just got into Thompson Rivers University into the business administration course because of my relishness and my acumen into business. I've been in sales for about 5 years till now. So I've done tech sales, and on top of that, I want to actually get myself accrued into the sector and kind of understand the Canadian economy to kind of implement my skills better. So yeah, these are pretty much the nitty-gritties of what I'm currently doing. And yeah, of course, just wanna, get better and evolve my skills further to nourish the ecosystem better. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for giving us your pitch today, Rania. And when you graduate from, you said you're at Thompson Rivers University, are you looking for like an engineer position, or are you looking to get into like an industry that one of our companies here today is representing?
Yeah, so I'm actually looking forward for the industries that our guest speakers are from, because I mean, I just checked about the background of the companies. It's pretty interesting and intriguing, of course. And it gives me an insight into their core values and mission, which I can relate to. So yeah, for sure, I'm open to those opportunities into the business sector. Yep.
Great, thanks, really. I don't know if our guest speakers have follow-up questions for our pitch event candidates. Okay, if not, I'll move on to our third pitch candidate today. It's
Thank you so much, Chelsea.
Thank you so much, Rania. We've got Calvin here from Vancouver. So Calvin, feel free to turn your camera on and your microphone on, and let us know a bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Calvin. I completed my degree in finance and a diploma in real estate business. I had a 4-year experience in managing a commercial and strata property in Singapore, and 5 years in project development in Vietnam. So my strength is communication skill. I can communicate well with my team members and also with external partners. I moved to Vancouver 3 months ago with my family, and I'm currently looking for a job in property or technology industry. Also, that is something between these two industry. Thank you.
All right, great. Well, welcome to Canada. Since you just got here 3 months ago, hope you're no, not enjoying this rainy weather we're having, but hopefully you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, I enjoy a lot.
Great. And I don't know, maybe Fiona's got a follow-up question for you, since you mentioned you're interested in property management.
I certainly, Kelvin, I'd love to connect, and if that's appropriate, and I'd be happy to give you some additional information on Tribe. We are very heavy on the tech side, so I would love to have a chat with you.
Yeah, I would love to talk to you in details.
Awesome.
Perfect. Great. Well, thanks to you three for, being brave and pitching yourself. I know that's not always the easiest thing to do, to stand up in front of a crowd and talk about yourself. So thank you so much. And keep an eye on your email inboxes for an email from me inviting you to a resume consultation with BC Jobs. So thank you all so much.
Yeah,
now, next up, we can kind of open up the floor to invite everyone to ask questions to our guest speakers today. Now, I see that some people have been putting some questions in the chat, which is great. So I'll go with those questions first. And then, if you have a question, you don't want to type it in the chat, you can raise your hand. So just to let everybody know where the raise the hand button is. At the bottom of your Zoom page, you'll see a little tab called reactions, like with a smiley face. If you click on that, you'll see there's a raised hand. So if you have a question, you can always go with the raised hand at the bottom. So first off, I'm just going to go back up into the chat here, and I'm going to pull out some of the questions that we've been getting, and I'll invite the people who have been asking the questions to come on screen or come on camera, and you can ask your questions in person. So I see the first one's from Tammy Tope, and their question is the organization hiring people from outside the EU and medical related services, veterinarian, for example? So this was our pitch candidate from before. So I don't know if you wanted to jump back on screen. I believe you said it was Lawal, and you can ask your question. Okay, perfect.
I would have loved to put my camera on, but currently there is light issue in my state, so it's quite dark here.
Yeah, so I imagine it's nighttime for you now.
Yes, it's already past 11. Yeah.
Wow, it's pretty late. Okay, and feel free to, if you want to reframe your question or ask your question to our panelists.
Yeah, my question is, I finished from University of Ibadan, and I want to ask if the company, the organization, is into employing people from outside Canada to work with them, giving them chance to show their skills and learn more on the job. So that's my question. I want to know if there's an opportunity for someone like me.
Okay, great question.
And if they are not into medical related issue, maybe there is opportunity for career change, since I'm into graphic designing and web designing. So that's it. Thank you.
So I don't know if one of our panelists has an answer.
Happy to.
Sure.
One of the components of property management is physically going and seeing buildings. But we currently have 2 people that we are hiring from out of country, going through the licensing process while they are remote, and then assisting with the process of coming into Canada. We are always looking for the right fit, and retraining and sponsoring and supporting is near and dear to my heart.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would say for us, we have most of our full-time staff, all of our full-time staff pretty much is in the US and Canada, but we do have a lot of contractors that we work with in all sorts of different roles, and especially our educators, are kind of from all over the world. So there are parts of Wize that we are different roles at Wize that we recruit, most certainly outside of Canada and outside of North America. So we're always posting all of our kind of roles on our careers part of our website, and that's where we put all of our job postings and highlight any available opportunities, and we're good about keeping that up to date with all of the roles we currently have available.
Perfect. Great to know. And just to add on to that, Lowell, we at BCJobs, we do offer a panel. There's actually a panel next week on immigrating to Canada and finding work in Canada. So next week, it's on Thursday, March 24th. Yeah, that's next week.
Yeah.
At the same time, 3 to 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're going to have a couple RCICs on the panel, as well as someone from NPower, and they offer training courses to people to newcomers to Canada to update their skills. And I believe their programs are mostly like technical related. So they might have for example, like graphic design or something like that, or web development. So if you want to get more information on coming to Canada to find work, you can feel free to join our panel next week, or just, you can send me an email if you have some questions, and I'll put my email in the chat towards the end today.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Okay, I see some hands raised. Mike, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Hi, Chelsea, and hi, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here for this wonderful event. And my name is Mike, and I just have some question, a general question that I would probably need an answer from you. So basically, I'm a recent graduate from University of Toronto, and I'm currently in the middle of the career transition. So, but I see which means I don't have a lot of full-time experience after I graduate. So my general question will be, do you have any opening role that you think new graduates could be a great fit? And what's your general expectation of the new grad?
Great question. For entry-level positions, I don't know if Fiona or Cyrus can take on that question for you.
Do you want to focus it on any particular career, Mike? That's career path that you're looking for, whether it's software development through to marketing. I think there's kind of a different answer.
Honestly, I already tried the software engineering, so I would definitely prefer some position that focus a little bit more about people, because I love to engage people, and I think that's kind of my passion is. And especially I've learned about I would probably just take a balance between analytic and people management. I would say, for example, I'm very interested in product management.
Yeah. I would just say that we probably have the same expectations from, some, I guess for most of our roles, it really, yeah, maybe I would just go on to say that once you find out like exactly what you're going for, our main thing is that when we hire for a respective role, that the person's genuinely passionate about pursuing and growing in that respective role. And then we really just work with them based off of where they're at, where their skill set is, what their ambitions are. So yeah, since we're kind of a smaller startup, whereas maybe a bigger organization with 1,000 folks at it, has a very disciplined approach for how you go about entering their respective company, how you go about growing in that respective role, what your career path is going to be. Since we're kind of a more crazy startup, we'd actually work with you individually to understand what it is you're trying to achieve, where you want to go, what you want to be exposed to, what your current skill set is, what sort of help you need. And then, we kind of treat everyone as different. So yeah, maybe Tribe has a little bit more standardization around it.
One thing that, well, there's a whole bunch of things we're seeing these days. The days of expecting X number of years of experience, that seems to be behind us. We're now looking for fit. We're looking for culture. We're looking, again, passion is really important to us. And when we are now looking at people to bring into whatever department, whether it's product or whether it's property management, we're looking for the right person. We can train the actual job functions. It's finding someone who likes who we are, what we're set out to do, and that's changed a pretty traditional, archaic industry. So it's about fit, and I suspect you'll find as you go through your career, you're going to see that is becoming more important than some of the history that you may have had. Skills we can teach. Passion is very, very difficult to teach.
That's the best answer I've ever heard.
Oh, now I'm going to hire you for sure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, great question, Mike. And next up, I see MD Masafizir has got their hand raised. Sorry if I haven't said your name correctly. Feel free to jump on screen and ask your question.
Okay, so actually I am in a break right now from my work. So I have joined from my workplace. So I am in a break right now. So my question is like, I have completed my bachelor's in electrical and electronics engineering from North South University, Bangladesh in 2017. And then I did so many jobs like in the telecommunication sector, in gas mining sector, and I have experiences on the web developing side. I can design the website, and I have experiences on the electrical systems, like the residence electrical line from the main power station. So I did that job too. So right now I am living in Kamloops, Canada. My wife is studying here and I am in work permit. So I am looking some kind of job like which has a technical staffs and technical system software. So because I have skills on that type of job and that type of technical software, so I am looking that kind of job like any technical site. So that is my question actually.
Okay, so your question, like, are there any technical roles available in at Tribe or Wize?
Yeah, like I have experiences. I told you that I have experiences on the website developing and the electrical residence system solve and problem. Like so I have experiences on that side. So I'm looking for that kind of job because I am passionate about this thing.
Right. Okay. So web design or like electrical engineering, is that kind of?
Yeah, I am an electrical engineer. I have the electrical engineering ID card from the Bangladesh electrical engineering department.
Okay.
So I came here with my wife because she is studying in Thompson River University, Kamloops right now. So I am looking that kind of job. That's why I have joined with your event.
Perfect. So I don't know if maybe Fiona or Cyrus can speak to your question.
Absolutely. So web design, certainly. We have an amazing team that helps with our proprietary software. The electrical engineering, probably a little less so, but certainly, you know, don't ever hesitate. You know, if I make any suggestion, it's give it a try. You never know when an organization is looking for someone, and you might just fit the bill. Again, it's back to regardless of what your background is. Sometimes we find interesting fits for the right person.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, I would say, you know, as a technology company, we definitely recruit software engineers and software developers. Yeah, as of right now, we're not currently recruiting. And when we do, we'll, you know, throw up the job posting on our kind of website. But yeah, it would be in the website development sort of area that we would have opening again. Yeah, we wouldn't have the electrical engineering kind of positions for your organization, but yeah, those are two skill sets that you sound very lucky to have. And I feel like between electrical engineering and software development, whatever you pursue, you should be in high demand.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Cyrus. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, like I have Park told my answer, and I am agree with him. And I did website developing as a part of my education. Not
okay.
Like yeah, it's not like I am not career with that website developing. I want to career with the electrical engineering thing, but I did that because I like I am a tech savvy person, so that's the main thing. Like that's why I did that website developing course.
It's always good to have extra skills.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for your question. I see that Varanya, they've got their hand raised. Do you want to go ahead and you can jump? Thank you. You can jump on screen and ask your question.
Hello, hello.
Yes. Oh, I can hear you now. Yes.
Yeah. So my question is typically to Cyrus.
Okay.
So yeah, I have actually worked into tech startups before, and the sector has been typically SaaS and an amalgamation of PaaS as well. So I just want to know, I have actually worked into the business development and sales aspect of it. So at Wize, what's your vision regarding creation of business in the new markets? Typically, what you talked about, the US markets as well. So, what's the vision about that? How are you progressing? Is it B2B, B2C, or D2C?
Yeah, it's direct to consumer. So yeah, we're a little bit atypical to the SaaS and the B2B software companies. We go direct to consumer, directly to students. So marketing, you know, is a really big and important kind of a part of our business. But essentially, for $29.95. You pay each month. That's our subscription fee. And then you get access to our entire library of course materials, which includes over 4,000 hours of video content that are micro video lessons. So it's a lot of 2 to 3 minute videos to get to 4,000 hours of content, over 100,000 practice problems that come with full solutions. And our big differentiating factor relative to, for example, Khan Academy or YouTube that are general learning sites is we customize all of our materials according to a specific course in a specific university. So rather than going on the World Wide Web and saying, I need help with general calculus, or going into YouTube and saying, I need help with limits, or going on to Khan Academy and saying, hey, I need help with math, you can go on to Wize, you enter the exact school you go to, you enter the exact course that you're looking for support with, and then you'll actually see video lessons and exam-like practice problems that are custom tailored to this same experience you're actually seeing in class to help you outside of the classroom. So yeah, we are taking this direct to consumer approach and trying to help as many students as possible. We've helped, we have subscribers now across 42 different provinces and states, and across 120 different schools. So there's 4,500 colleges across North America. Our intention is to help students in all of them.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Yeah, of course.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, are you also doing, let's say, some B2B tie-ups so that you can optimize your revenue in terms of, let's say, advertisements that covers up your ROI and let's say your bottom line as well? Does that work that way?
No, right now we're like super focused on just figuring out the B2C, super focused on just figuring out the B2C component, which, but in the future, 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 3 years, I don't know, we do see an opportunity to work with schools to have them purchase the Wize subscription at a discount for all of their students rather than, some of the students from their said school having, a leg up on their peers. They could, buy our service. That's super helpful for all of their students. So we see B2B coming into the picture, but in the future after we are really successful with our direct to consumer approach.
Sure. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks for all your questions. I see that Calvin's got their hand raised. Calvin, did you want to ask your question?
Yeah, I have a question for Fiona. Yeah. I know this property management industry is a regulated industry. So do you require applicant to have a license before joining the company?
Used to be the case that we would ask for the licensing to be completed. What we've done over the last couple of years is it had applicants come in and work with the back end, start to learn the technology, learn the backside of the systems while doing the course. It's a UBC correspondence course. It's something that we work with our new managers or managers in training to get through that licensing process. And then when they are ready, they hit the ground running because they've been working with us for several months already.
I see. So there will be learning opportunity to get this license.
Of course. And we're the most regulated market as far as oversight, compliance oversight in the world. British Columbia is the leader of that. And in many respects, it's really good because it ensures that the consumer is protected.
Yeah, that's right.
But there's a lot of hoops to jump through, but we do it really well. And we find that when we bring people on in advance of licensing and train them, by the time they get licensed, they're ready to go and they do really well in the industry.
Thank you.
Great
to know. Yeah.
Thanks for your question, Calvin.
Thank you, Fiona.
I don't see any other questions in the chat box or any more hands raised. So for those of you who are still thinking about your questions, maybe I'll just ask a question of my own just to keep the flow going. What I would love to know about Tribe and Wize is about your company culture and what it's like to work at your organizations and why you love going to work every day.
I'll go ahead and start if that's okay. One of the reasons when it's in an industry that's got an extraordinary shortage of managers, one of the reasons we're typically fully staffed is the culture. We spend a lot of time on culture and we've taken a relatively traditional, a very traditional industry, and we've put a bit of the tech fun into it. So when you come to Tribe, there's dogs and kombucha and all the fun stuff that people will often think of as tech, but we've brought it into our ecosystem. And our position is always, it's a hard job. Our team members work very, very hard. They've got to have a safe place to call home. We will accommodate if there's requests. We try and do what it takes to make the staff realize how important they are to us and our success. So culture is what makes Tribe Tribe.
Love it. And what about for Wize?
I'd say Wize, if you were joining Wize, you'd be joining a relatively early stage startup who has the very ambitious aim to try to change the world. And, to change the world, I think is no easy task. So, something in our culture is, embracing working on hard problems. And if anybody's looking for an easy job, I'll tell them real quick, Wize is not the place. There's a lot easier jobs out there. But for the type of person who wants to challenge themselves, for the type of person who wants to grow as much as they possibly can in the shortest amount of time, and for someone who wants to, work on really hard problems that give back and create value to society. Those are the sort of things that we strive to have resonate with the people who are looking to join Wize in some sort of capacity.
Great to know. Great. And while we're still waiting for some questions to come in, I'll continue to ask a few of my own here. So in terms of hiring, I've recently heard that like some organizations are kind of doing away with resumes, and I wanted to know like what your application base is like. Do you prefer that people send resumes and cover letters to organizations, or like connect with you over LinkedIn about job opportunities? What's the best way to reach out and apply to your organizations?
Yeah, I think you can never go wrong with the standard approach of, seeing the job posting, following the details, going above and beyond, even doing follow-ups on applications if it doesn't explicitly say not to do follow-ups on applications. And then, I think everybody in the world, just especially right now more than everything, is opportunistic in nature. So I think it is that time, for if you are passionate about a particular industry, about a particular role, about a particular job, and if you feel like you are the right person to tackle the challenges that are presenting, I think more now than ever before, I'm very open and excited to getting a direct message or an email that explains why someone's super passionate about something and has identified that we need help with it through either a job posting or through following us or whatever the case may be. So I would say it's a good time. People are looking, I think, now more than ever to have really passionate people. So if you go the length of actually sending a direct message, and if it also goes on to communicate and articulate that you're worth taking a bet on and you're passionate, I think now's the time than ever to go for gold, and to go outside the conventional way and do more than just submit the application form.
Loved your answer. Great. And Fiona, do you have any thoughts on that?
Agreed. Absolutely. Reach out. We're looking for the person. One of my my most recent hires was someone that he was a server at Cactus Club, and he was just so engaging. And that first day I told him I was going to hire him, and he didn't believe me. And it took me 3 or 4 more lunches at Cactus Club before he finally capitulated and said, fine, I'm coming to work with you. So it's about just reaching out. We'll find a way. We'd like to know what your history is, and if you would fit within the ecosystem, and a resume and a cover letter will do that. But it's just important to go for it. If there's something that interests you, it doesn't matter what your history is, reach out.
Okay, great. And I see that Mike in the chat is asking, can he and any of our audience members here today, can they reach out to both of you over LinkedIn? Is that an acceptable way of communicating? Okay. Good news, Mike. Okay, great to know. Yeah, and for audience members today, feel free, if you've got a question, raise your hand, pop a question into the chat. I've still got a few questions of my own that I can ask while you're still thinking of questions. And for your organizations that are hiring right now, do you find that you're hiring more like entry level, like junior talent positions, or more senior talent, like higher level positions in your companies? Or a bit of both?
Both. A bit of both. In our industry, experience is gold dust, but for the right junior, absolutely, we'd be happy to train. So we see who's available and who's interesting, and we go from there.
Yeah, I'd say we're quite opportunistic as well. We're gearing up for another round of funding, so we'll be going on a pretty big hiring blitz when we're, fingers crossed, very successful, be on the other side of that. So be on the outlook or on the look for all sorts of positions that Wize will kind of throw out there, and they will range from junior through senior positions.
Oh, exciting! Great. Okay, so that's really great news. And maybe we could talk about some tips for our job candidates today for for when they, for example, submit a resume to you, or for when they come into an interview? Like maybe what are some tips to best prepare for an interview at your organizations? And maybe what kind of what stands out to you in a strong candidate?
I think coming in prepared, take a look at the organization that you are coming in. It's very impressive when someone has spent a little bit of time, looked into who we are, what we do, and come with ways that you can make our organization better. We are looking for people who want to come in and really, again, Cyrus is trying to change the world. We're trying to change a more traditional environment, but we're still trying to do something that's out of the ordinary. Yeah. So really displaying and proudly displaying how you can do that, it'll get noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say for me, most of my interview questions are more so behavioral or around if you'd be a culture fit. And too many people think that there's a right answer to a question that I'm asking. And, focusing less on trying to give the right answer that you think the person wants you to say, and instead focusing more on building a relationship that person's going to remember after the respective interview. So, I think there are some particular roles out there, for which there are, it's really technical and it's really important for you to get, some of the theory correct or whatever the case. But, for roles like marketing, let's say, it's really more so about, can you think outside the box than, anything else? And would I like working with you? And, that sort of stuff. So I think, at the end of the day, remember the person's going to favor, even if you answered every question perfectly right, but if they're like, I really didn't like that person, you're not getting the job. Whereas if you answered a couple questions wrong, but they're like, oh my God, I loved that person. That person is just such a nice human being that I want to work with, you're probably getting the job. I think too many people lean into the first category when they should be leaning into the second category.
Right. So it's important to be yourself in the interview and be honest and with all your answers. Yeah. That's
be curious.
Be curious.
I think if you're coming in and you're coming into something that's new to you, ask the questions. There is a very good point, Cyrus. There's no wrong answer. We want someone who wants to dig in and figure out what's under the rocks. Those are the kind of people that go on to do great things.
Amazing. Great. All right. Do we have any more questions from our audience today?
I'll talk if nobody else is. Sure.
Sure. Go ahead, Whitney.
Hey, I'm Whitney. This is so random. I ended up getting an email. I've just been going through a lot of life changes myself. And I work in a middle school right now, but I just I don't know. I have this newfound drive and passion, and I don't even know what I want to do quite yet. So I'm just kind of exploring my options. I'm like, maybe I do want to change. And, I'm very passionate, very driven. And I just want to learn more about what's out there and what's going on. And so technology is, I am 35 now, right? So technology, it's a little difficult for me, but marketing has definitely always been a passion for me. I'm super creative. I love coming up with new ideas and stuff, right? So, I'm just kind of curious what's going on there. So I just want to introduce myself. I'm Whitney.
Nice to meet you, Whitney.
Yeah, thank you.
I noticed you joined us a little bit later today. So maybe since you're in education right now, you mentioned you're in a you work in a
I'm an
school.
educational assistant. I love my job. I love my job, but the pay is not what it should be or needs to be. So I'm open to exploring other options, right? So I did show up a little bit late. Sorry, I do have
no worries. I was just gonna say maybe Cyrus can talk a bit about Wize again, just because you missed our introductions in the beginning.
Bad. That was off of me, but thank you.
No problem. Yeah, you just missed a little bit about Wize. We're an education technology company that supports students outside of the classroom, providing them on-demand video lessons, exam-like practice problems, and we try to leverage technology to reduce the price point, but still leveraging an experience that's as good as one-on-one private tutoring. So,
okay, so
that's
cool. I love that. I did look a little bit into your in the company, right? And I was like, wow, this is cool. This is something I don't know about. And I mean, even working in the schools, I feel like we're not utilizing the technology that's out there. I'm like, you know, we got nonverbal kids and they're not even using an iPad. I'm like, what's going on, right? So I mean, I love to see companies like this, they're coming at a new approach. I think it's awesome. So
yeah, one thing for you to consider, I know the private tutoring industry, is growing, and, massive $25 billion of private tutoring takes place in North America each year, just today. So,
yeah.
That's a place that I know people have been successful in augmenting their incomes when they have some extra time on their hands.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna say too, like with the whole tutoring thing too, right? Like one of I would say my strongest points is building that relationship, right? And I think that's important because no kid's gonna listen, or anybody's gonna let, you know what I mean, if you don't have that relationship. So how in your company, like, do you have that one-on-one face-to-face, or is it, yeah?
Yeah, well, we actually do group we do group tutorials
Yeah.
live. So, large class sizes that do review sessions, and then we mix those with asynchronous resources with that same educator. So you can come and meet them, at the beginning of the semester and do a live review, but then you can benefit from them 24/7, 365 on demand, and get their asynchronous materials too. Yeah, and we find it's a very powerful combination. And when you're just having one, like you said, you miss out on the trust. If you're just doing it synchronously, then you're missing out on being able to provide a 24/7 kind of experience. So the blend of those two things we think is very powerful.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
And thanks for joining us today, Whitney.
Thank you. Sorry I was late.
No worries.
I have
no
4
worries.
children, okay?
You've been busy.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions for our guest panelists today? Otherwise, I'll probably start wrapping up pretty soon if we don't have any more questions. So I'll just leave that open if you're still thinking of a question. Otherwise, if there are no more questions for our guest speakers today, maybe what I'll do is I'll hand over the reins, the floor, to our guest speakers to maybe add anything else that they want you guys to know about the organizations, about their companies, and then we'll start to wrap up our panel for today. So I'll leave it to Fiona and Cyrus to leave some lasting words of advice or information on their companies.
Thank you, Chelsea, and thank you, everybody. I'm more than open to having conversations going forward if anyone has any questions. But find something you love. Cyrus has said it, and it's important. Find something you're good at. It doesn't necessarily need to be in your field of study or what your experience is. The right organization will be happy to train you and support you through your learning. So reach out, and we'll look forward to seeing you.
Perfect. Thank you, Fiona.
Yeah, if you know any students from grade 9 through to university, whoever needs support or help, or who are complaining about school, make sure you recommend them to Wize Prep and you save their day. Aside from that, I would just say that it's much more compelling when someone comes to me with conviction around what they're already passionate about. So then I can start being more like, oh, where's that passion? What position is like at Wize? That's like leaning into them, versus when, someone comes to me and maybe it's a different conversation, but it's just important that I think they clarify it, where, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't know what I like yet. In that example, my answer is usually, oh, well, then you have some homework to do on your own accord, versus, hey, marketing is the thing that I decided that through many experimentations, is the thing I'm passionate about. It's the thing that, I lose sleep over because I'm so excited to wake up in the morning to check the results of the thing from the day. So yeah, just make sure if you are going to someone in pursuit of getting their help to actually get a job, I think crystallizing, that what you're passionate about and what you could do, because nobody wants to, jump into a position with someone that 1 month later they realize they didn't like it. Now they're somewhere else. When we're committing a lot to onboarding and to training, we want to know that it's committed to someone who has conviction around what they're going to do. So if you are going for someone for general advice, then that's perfectly fine to say, hey, I have no idea what I want to do. But then the ask is more, could you help identify some thoughts or suggestions for how I can find out what I can, really have unwavering conviction around. So yeah, just be mindful of that. If you go to them with that conviction and your end goal is to actually get a job with them, demonstrating that you already have the conviction for the field that you want to enter, I think is more powerful than, saying I could do anything and I can do marketing or software development or operations or hiring. Well, I really want to hear about the one thing that you think you could do exceptionally well and hopefully for a long time to come.
Fantastic advice, Cyrus.
I have one final question here.
Just
while I'm here, because I'm kind of seeing, a little shift in the world and stuff, right? And like, I believe I'm very emotionally intelligent, right? And I feel like sometimes, your resume gets, put past because you don't have those degrees and all that type of stuff. So I mean, with your guys' company, is that kind of like, are you guys open to that, or is it all about your credentials?
Not at all. What we manage the financial asset of Strata Corporation, so the buildings you see all over the city. Yeah. When we have people that we're putting in front of our clients, there is a trust that and all of the money we have is in trust. But also for us, when you walk in front of a client, they have to be able to trust that you know what you're doing. So for us, it's not about what the background is, we can train it. But what is important is that you can walk in. Emotional maturity is very important. Being able to give someone the peace of mind that we know what we're doing. It is important. It's going to be important whatever you do. You want someone to know that you've got them. Whether it's marketing or whether it's the financial management of the strata, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, a word is really important these days, I do feel, right? Thank you.
Okay, great. And thanks for that question, Gwyddi. All right, and to wrap up today, Fiona and Cyrus, thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure to have you both on our panel today. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules. I know both of you must be super busy to join us. And if anyone is looking for work or new opportunities, check out Tribe's and Wize's hiring pages. I believe there might be some links in the chat. Otherwise, you can find them online or through LinkedIn. And don't forget to join us next month on April 5th for our next #HireMe2022 guest panel speaker series with interior health, carbon 60, and social nature. And as I mentioned earlier, we also have another panel coming up next week called #HireMe in Canada, which is an immigration guest panel speaker series. And that will be on March 24th, next Thursday. So you can reach out to me for more information on that. The links are the registration's on Eventbrite for both panels. And and so this spring we will be running these series every 3 weeks for the #HireMe panels, and so you get to meet speakers from various sectors a little more frequently than usual. And lastly, you can always shoot me an email with any questions to events@BCJobs.ca. So thank you everyone for joining us, and see you all next time.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Okay, have a wonderful week,
Thanks,
everyone.
Chelsea. Thanks, Fiona.
You too.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.